Hi there, Hirschhalb, and all the rest of you good people out there. Regarding the issue of having section curves showing up in the drafting environment, I thought that I would try the same. I'm not quite sure I can duplicate your issue, but I thought that I would walk through and see if we can find something together. So, I have an example of a fuselage here as well. Think that is what you're working on as well. This is a shell model, zero thickness to it, and I initially going to create some section curves through it, and then I'm going to create a view and drafting of the same. As you said that you were not familiar with the master modeling concept, I am assuming that all this is taking part in the modeling part. So you have both the drawing and the model in the same file. So with that said, let's see what we can do. We first need to check the model here. You can see that it's a shell model. Or we can't really see that it's a shell model. We can do that if I do a section out of it. We can see that, yes, it's a shell model. So, but what we want to do is we want to create a bunch of curves, intersection curves along the x-axis, or in this case, the y-axis, and along the body. So let's do that. We use, I'm not quite sure what intersection curves you use. I use the section curve because you said you had a bunch of them, incremental 10 degrees. So we say that we're going to cut the upper body with a vector y in this case, and kind of a spread of those planes. So we say okay to that and let the system run off and create those curves. So now we have created a bunch of those curves. We will move over to the drafting side, and we do so, and we're going to create or add a base view here. And I thought that that ice view there that we had would be good, but we need a different scale to that. So we say 16, and yeah, that should fit. So just by adding a view to the drawing here, you can see that stuff turns up that I do not want there. And it seems like all the curves are in there that I expect. But first, let's see. According to the standard I'm using, I obviously am showing the grid as well. So I turn the grid off and I say apply, and it starts looking a little bit more the way I want it to. We can also see that I have an upper and lower side there. We got some line or curve coming down here, which would be the faces that are on there. And that would be referring to the smooth edges. In this case, I do not want the smooth edges, so I turn them off and apply. And as you can see, all the curves are now showing up here, which is good. And that is as expected. So this is the behavior I expect you to have as well. However, if, let's say, we do this again, I do a couple of undos there, and we go back to the modeling side, we see that we have a bunch of curves. Now they're in one feature. I'm not quite sure if you have created them as one feature. You could have created a set of datum planes and cut each of those section curves as their own feature. In that case, it's easy to kind of have them non-shown. But you can also, in this case, let me set the curve filter here to curve, or the filter entity filter to curve, and let's just hide those curves a bit. So let's see what happens to that once I move over to the drafting side again. So we do an application and move over to drafting. Okay, so we're going to add that view again, add base view. We're going to add that to a ratio of, let's say, 16, and we're going to use the isometric view. Now you can see already in the preview that there is something, I shouldn't say fishy, but it's the way I have created this thing that affects. And also, back to the settings, depending on the standard I've chosen here. We can see that I got the UV grid on there. I don't want that. And now we start to see what I think. Let's turn off the smooth edges as well. This is kind of what the issue I think that you are experiencing. If you have created these as separate curves or separate features for each intersection as well, you could in the feature tree potentially hide the section curves, and that would also reflect in the drafting. So if I go to application, modeling again, let's go back there and let's hide all of those section curves. Let's go back to drafting, and you can see that they are now hidden in the drafting, so they do reflect here as well. The red X here marks that it's out of date, so we need to refresh and update that. And you can see now I don't have any of those lines. Now I only have one section curve for this, but you might have several, and I think that maybe a couple of those have been hidden. Anyway, I hope this helps in any way to explain what you're experiencing. And I hope all you good people are safe and sound out there and healthy. And this is all I had for now. So over and out from Fred. Take care until later. Bye for now.